I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. There we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're all having a nice Tuesday. Hope you all had a nice Monday night. I did. 1 second. I don't know why the TV wouldn't mute. All right, turn it off. Usually I keep the show on the TV to make sure it looks good, but if for some reason the TV wouldn't mute. But yeah, hope you all had a nice Monday night. I had a good one. Technically, my bets went 2-2, but one of the losses was a money line sprinkle on the Raptors. So theoretically, I went 2-1. Another winning night. It's been a very good stretch for me. Hopefully, that continues. Before we get into this one, this episode's brought to you by Pool Genius. Real quick, before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Pool Genius. It's that time of year. It's time to fill out your March Madness bracket. Now, most people go about this the complete wrong way, and they don't even realize it. They pick their favorite teams. They follow the rankings. They listen to experts on YouTube. But every single year, without fail, their bracket's busted by Friday afternoon. Do you want an actual shot of winning your bracket pool this year? You better roll with Pool Genius. I'm a huge Pool Genius guy. Bringing Pool Genius to your bracket pool is like bringing a gun to a knife fight. Even if you haven't watched a single second of college basketball this year, you could still build a better bracket than the biggest college basketball nerd you know. It's as simple as this. Step 1, enter the details of your bracket pool. That's it. There is no step 2. Pool Genius will do the rest, creating a fully optimized bracket using the most advanced bracket picking technology on the planet. So if you're tired of your bracket being busted by the end of the first weekend every single year, head on over to Pool Genius. You can click the link in the description or poolgenius.com/sauce. All right. So brought to you by Pool Genius. All right. So we got 4. This is going to be a quick one. We got 4 NBA games, then the 2 playing games. We can get rid of Pool Genius on the screen there. So yeah, 4 NBA games. I got 2 bets, and I kind of got screwed in one of them. In fact, was LaMelo Ball just rolled out?
I think still question. I don't think he's going to play because he went from probable to questionable, but I don't think it's confirmed yet.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I like the bet. I got Charlotte at +7. You can now get +8.5. Obviously, I bet it before LaMelo Ball was downgraded to questionable. So, yeah, I got a bet on the Hornets at +7. Obviously, I don't like it now if LaMelo Ball's not going to play. That being said, it is the Hawks on the road. So, I mean, if you don't think the Hawks can still fumble a 7-point cover on the road against Charlotte, then you must not watch much Hawks basketball. So, obviously, I don't like the bet now that LaMelo Ball might not play. And if I had to guess, I'd say he's probably not going to play. But I wouldn't call the bet completely dead. So, I'm rolling with Charlotte +7. Kind of got screwed by the injury report here. Modi, do I see a LaMelo point prop after telling us he's not going to play?
Yeah, I also got screwed by the injury report because when I locked this in this morning, he was listed as probable, and then he got downgraded to questionable. Obviously, if he doesn't play, we just get this refunded, so it's no issue there. It's really scary because he hasn't scored 20 or 30 points in 20 straight games. The biggest thing here is that Miles Bridges is out. Now, Bridges hasn't missed a game since November, so we don't really know what that looks like recently. What I do know is that in the 7 games that Bridges has missed and Ball has played this year, Ball has a usage rate of 43%, which like only 2 players in NBA history have had a usage rate at 40% or above. That's like a historic rate. He takes 29 shots per game with Miles Bridges off the floor. It's just been a while. So the Hawks are bad defense. They're bad pick and roll defense. Everybody's worried about Dyson Daniels, and I get that he's a good defender, but they just run a pick and roll and then it's game over. Like there's a reason why they're one of the worst defenses, specifically guarding pick and roll ball handlers. Obviously, if LaMelo doesn't play, it's impossible for him to score 30 points, but the bet's not an L. It's just a refund. So, yeah, I wish I hope he plays. I don't think he will, but that's where I'm on in this one.
If you're looking, I would say the reason I'm saying that the bet isn't completely dead if LaMelo Ball doesn't play is part of the reason I like the Hornets, a big reason I like the Hornets in this one is I like the matchup for the Hornets defensively. They've been profitable against teams that run in transition like the Hawks. They've also been profitable against teams that attack the paint. The 3-point shooting teams, those are the ones that have had success against the Hornets. Teams that attack the paint like the Hawks, the Hornets defense has played well against. So I like the matchup for the Hornets defensively. LaMelo Ball is not a defensive piece, so that matchup still applies. But obviously, in order to cover the number, we do need to score points. And if LaMelo Ball's that out there, the Hornets offense, I mean, it's basically a Mountain West offense at that point. So yeah, hopefully LaMelo Ball plays. Chris?
It may be worse than that, Kyle. You take Miles Bridges off the floor and LaMelo, and guess what, Kyle? I still wouldn't lay the points with Atlanta. You mentioned everything but the trend. Laying points on the road, did 2-6 against the number this season. They've only covered 2. We just saw them laying points. That was a primetime spot against the Nets the other day. They were laying, 5.5 in that spot, and that's won the second leg of a back-to-back, 5th game in 7 nights. And what do? They go out and lose by 8 points. So I definitely agree with you, Kyle. I think if LaMelo gets ruled out and without Bridges, maybe it goes up to 10.5, 11, and then you take Charlotte. We've seen some of these teams just, lay eggs when they're supposed to win, especially that whole injured player theory. I'm not sure who's going to keep the game close for Charlotte, but they'll figure it out. Atlanta will make sure they get a chance to figure it out. As far as player props, I did play Terrence Mann in this game. I just looked because I played it earlier this morning. I just looked. I got a little bit of CLV. I know I didn't cash with my Champagny look yesterday. He shot the ball just atrociously from the field. I think he was 2 for 7 from the 3-point line. We still only missed it by 2, I think, points plus rebounds. But anyway, Terrence Mann, I played him up and over 9.5. Large part in due to Caris LeVert being out. Last 2 games, LeVert has missed, and he is out today for the Atlanta Hawks as well. So I think he's going to get more usage. You look at those 2 games, he shot the ball 12 and 13 times. And with just 9 shot attempts this season, he's averaging 13 points, up and over the number in 8 of his 10 games. Should be a lot more usage. Charlotte, bottom 5 defensive rated team last 5 games. He gets a lot of, I think, a fifth of his points, in transition. Charlotte does rank bottom of the league in transition points allowed as well. So that's what I played in this game, Kyle. Didn't touch the side, didn't touch the total. Charlotte, I don't know, Kyle. We got to have a conversation about Charlotte. Did they kind of mail it in already? No. What I'm saying is if we just real quick, if we go back to Charlotte earlier, right, when they were getting these high totals and they were home dogs, they were covering. I remember a couple times you covered with them. You covered with the Lakers. You covered with the Suns. I think you had money line in that game. And recently they've been just they got dog walked in against the Clippers the other day, lost by 25. And we've seen a lot more real bad defensive performance from them. We know that their offense is trash, but yeah, we might have to start, maybe Charlotte is already looking, 1, 2, 3 Cancun out here, Cal.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a difference between tanking and because teams that are tanking will still cover big numbers. All right, let's move on to the next one. Brooklyn, Boston. Now, the Nets have played the Celtics tough twice this year. Played them down to 2-point game and a 4-point game. So, I mean, it's not like you can't say, hey, the Celtics have not had problems with this Nets team this year. They have. I mean, they're 3-0 against the Nets, but 2 of those 3 games, the Nets played them tough. Also, the weakness of this Nets defense, right? Protecting the interior. Boston does nothing but shoot threes. So that's when you want to bet the Nets against 3-point shooting teams that aren't going to take advantage of a poor Nets interior defense. Here's the problem. I mean, I still, if Jason Tatum plays, this number should be 17. So as much as you want to say, hey, the Nets play them tough, the Nets have been profitable against good teams. The Nets have been profitable against 3-point shooting teams. And I could throw all kinds of fastballs at you like that. But the truth is there's just a talent discrepancy here. And if the Celtics want to win this game by 20, they will. So, I mean, if Jason Tatum is ruled out, he's questionable. Remember, there's no Jaylen Brown. So if Jason Tatum is ruled out and you could still get a 14, go Nets. But if Jason Tatum is ruled in, I would lean towards the Celtics. So probably right when you know what you're going to put up with that, it's a straight pass for me. If Tatum's in, I like Boston to cover the 14. If Tatum's out, I like the Nets to cover the 14. Not betting this shit.
Do I sound weird to you guys?
You're echoing.
Okay, that's what I thought. Someone messaged.
I was going to say, I hear it on for Cal too.
Apparently your mic is coming through weird, Kyle. Do you have
Mine?
the thing on? Do you have it coming through the road?
No, I'll leave and come back.
All right. Anyways, I have a play on Tatum in this one, but I also think he might not play, so I'll just skip that one. Obviously, I got to go back to my first quarter king, Kristaps Porzingis. He missed it in his first game back last week, and he played only 7 minutes in the first quarter. Normally, he plays between like 8 and 10, so it's not like he played that much fewer than what he normally plays, that much less than. He played really well in the game. He played 32 minutes. He scored 24 points. So whatever rust that he had after taking a couple of weeks off, he got that out of the way in the second through fourth quarter. So yeah, we're going right back to the king. First quarter king, Kristaps Porzingis. It's over 5.5 at looks like plus 105 at Hard Rock. And if you don't use Hard Rock, I think the next best price. It was plus 100 at ESPN Bet. Let me pull that up just to make sure that I get the so it's plus 105 at Hard Rock. If you don't use them, now the next best price is minus 115 at Bet365. But yeah, I mean, he's hit it in 16 of his last 20 games. He did miss it last time, but I'm not really scared off of that fact. No Jaylen Brown. Obviously, Tatum might be questionable. It just leads to more shots for Porzingis. So yeah, we're going to go right back to KP, first quarter king, over 5.5 plus 105.
First quarter king. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I don't really want to touch this game either. What I will say though, Kyle, is because you make a lot of great points when I listen to you cap the game. What I will say is if Brooklyn is going to keep this game close. This is where I started. Do I think the Boston Celtics are going to come out, play some lockdown defense? Like, that's just not what we've seen, especially when they just played this team a couple nights ago. Did they cover the margin? No. Was it a little too close for comfort? Probably so. I think they ended up winning the game by 2 on a late three-pointer or whatever the case might be. But I do expect Brooklyn to continue to be feisty and scrappy in these games. If you look at the last 2 Brooklyn games, they've been able to shoot the three-point shot a lot. This is a very symbolic offense, in my opinion, to like the Charlotte Hornets. They shoot a bunch of threes. They don't make any of them. But the last 2 games, they've shot 43% and 47% from the three-point line in back-to-back games against Boston and Atlanta. So if they can shoot, if they're able to knock down some shots, do I think Boston's going to be able to score? Absolutely. They get Derek White back, who didn't play in the last game. Drew Holiday will be out there. So even without Jason Tatum, you got Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard. I don't have to go through the list. I do think the game – so I guess my favorite play is the over, because I do think that you look at Boston defensively, I'm not expecting them to bring a defensive effort. They're actually a bottom 5 defense against the three-point shot over the last 5 games. No look-ahead spot. I mean, they play Utah like in a couple days in Utah on Thursday. So I think with the total dropping this low, Kyle, like we're not going to see the best fastball, as you would like to say, from the Boston Celtics defense. And I think Brooklyn can get to a team total of probably like 101. I think they can get there. So I say all that to say I would lean over, and my lean on the game is over, and I will be taking the points for Brooklyn, thinking they can keep this one close again as well.
At 213.5. So if Tatum plays, I have this at 215.5. If Tatum doesn't play, I have it at 213. So I have it right there with the number. Let's move on to the next one. CLV King crushed this one. Absolute slaughterhouse. I got the under 233.5 last night. I'm seeing 227.5 now. And if Steph Curry is ruled out, which I kind of anticipate he will be, I mean, this should drop even lower. It wasn't even that I necessarily love the matchup for the under. It's tough when you're looking at the games the night before, right? And when I was looking at this game, the Warriors were in the middle of a game against Denver. So not only do we not know who's playing, but I also didn't know how the Warriors game was going to end. So I was just weighing my options on how to play it, and 233.5 just felt super high, especially given the opportunity of people sitting for Golden State. So yeah, I took the under, thinking I kind of like the under either way, but if Steph Curry sits, I love the under. That was my thought. So obviously it's already moved 5.5 points. I'm seeing 227.5 now. So yeah, I like my bet here. We'll have to wait and see. If you haven't bet it yet, don't take it at the current number. Just wait and maybe grab it after Steph Curry's ruled out, if he's ruled out. I wouldn't play it at the current number right now. Modi?
Yeah, bet on another guy that's questionable. Steph Curry, 27 plus points, plus 116 at FanDuel. If he gets ruled out, we get our money back. No issues here. If he plays, I really like this spot for Steph Curry. I like the fact that he's coming off of a brutal game last night. He couldn't make anything against the Nuggets. They lost a gross game against the Nuggets, who were sitting Jokic and Jamal Murray. He was 6 of 21 from the field, 4 of 14 from deep, scored 20 points. Bringing the Milwaukee Bucks was a great matchup for Steph. And he's been playing well recently. Like you look at his last 19 games, he scored 27 or more points in 12 of those 19 games. So he's been shooting well recently. The Bucks, 10 of 15 guys with Steph's scoring profile have hit their over. Against the Bucks, that's per props madness. The Bucks give up the 4th most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. Last time Steph played the Bucks was like a little over a month ago, scored 38 points. Last year, he played the Bucks one time, scored 29 points in that one. It's the perfect matchup for him based on the way that the Bucks play defense. So Steph Curry, 27 plus points, plus 116 at FanDuel.
Modi just loves questionable players. And there was a comment I thought was pretty good with the analysis. 1 second. Here he is. So it says, Matt Modi uses women's deodorant because regular men's deodorant is too harsh on his pits.
I do have sensitive pits. I don't know how that guy knows that, but I'm well known of having sensitive pits.
Chris, what are your thoughts on this game, and what are your thoughts on Modi using women's deodorant?
Oh man, so no shame in Modi using women's deodorant, especially if he has sensitive pits. I'd rather them, smell good and him have good personal hygiene, rather than using no deodorant at all, because it could get worse. So cool for Modi using that. As far as this game goes, Kyle, man, I think it's tough. It's tough without Steph. I'll tell you what I bet, and then I'll tell you why I think your under is probably the best play on the board. So what I bet was Kyle Kuzma under his 13.5 points. And this is just like his recent struggles. He stayed under the 13.5 in 4 straight games, 5 of his last 6, and 4 of his last 5 with Giannis and Dame both playing. And you look at those games, last 5, he's shooting 38% from the field, 28% from the 24% from the 3-point line. He's still getting his normal minutes, about 30, but he's only averaging 9 points per game. Now he gets a really difficult matchup against a Golden State defense that's allowing the 6th fewest points in transition, which is very important because Kuz scores 1/4 of his points, about 24% in transition. Golden State does struggle on the full season against spot-up shooters. They're 24th, but Kuzma is struggling. Like I said, shooting just 24% from the 3-point line in his last 5 games. And then you look at Golden State defense recently, last 5 games, they're putting a lot of pressure on the 3-point line, allowing the 6th fewest threes over those 5 games. So I think Kuzma continues to struggle. You also just, if anybody watched the Bucks game versus the Thunder the other day, I don't know. Doc was just out there, kind of trying to figure out something. He was just changing the rotation up a lot as well. So we'll see if Kuzma even gets his, normal allotment of minutes today. I bet the under on Kyle Kuzma at 13.5. It did come down to 12.5. I don't know if I play it there or not. As far as the total goes, Kyle, I had so many trends on the under here. Just kind of disappointed I didn't get the best of the number. I fell asleep in the 4th quarter before even I had capped the total, but didn't play anything. So I do think you're on the right side there. The Bucks on road games in road games. I forgot what trend I looked at, but they were averaging like 213 points. Also, very interesting trend. We started to see some unders in the second half of the season, specifically against good teams. So I looked at teams that were both have I just kind of threw a number out there, 53% win percentage. Both teams have a 53% win percentage since the All-Star break, 31-18 to the under. We've seen this happen it happened last night, Golden State in Denver. We also saw it happen with the Timberwolves and the Pacers, not Timberwolves and the Pacers, the Bucks and the Thunder, the Bucks and the Pacers. So a lot of these games have been going under between 2 good teams, and I think we see the same thing, especially with Golden State not being completely locked in last night. So we'll see if the Bucks struggle from the 3-point line. They have been recently. I expect Golden State to put a lot of pressure there. If they can slow Giannis down, I think the game goes under for sure. So I do like the under, Cal. What I bet was Kyle Kuzma under his 13.5 points, though.
All right, let's move on to the last NBA game. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Is it really?
Do I sound normal?
I'm using.
Okay.
Modi, click the mute button on yourself, and we'll see if that is it. No, the YouTube's echoing a little bit. I just tested it. All right. Anyway, Cavs Clippers in LA. I was a little disappointed with this one. If you watched the video I uploaded last night, you already know what I'm about to say. So I handicapped this game out. I had it at around 2.5. I had it Clippers plus 2.5. I was anticipating this line open up at 5.5, and I was going to smash the Clippers at plus 5.5. It opens up at 2.5, 3. So Man, I like the matchup for the Clippers. I think it's a sharp spot to play the Clippers. Clippers are now fully healthy. Ben Simmons is back in the rotation. More importantly, Norman Powell is back in the rotation. They're at home where their defense, look, I've been kind of straying away from home away splits a bit this year, especially recently, and I've had success kind of just ignoring home away splits. But the Clippers home away splits are so significant that you can't ignore them. In their last 14 home games, they're 10-4 against the spread with a 106 defensive rating. In their last 14 road games, 3-11 against the spread with a 115 defensive rating. Bottom line, the Clippers at home are winning and covering. The Clippers on the road are losing, not covering, and playing shit defense. And it's a night and day difference. So you got the Clippers finally fully healthy at home where the defense has been lights out. They've also been profitable to bet against three-point shooting teams like the Cavs are. I love the matchup. It's such a sneaky spot to take the Clippers. But 2.5, 3 against the best team in the NBA? Come on. You can put the Clippers up. I was going to nuke Clippers plus 5.5. So, yeah, they're on it. This is a sharp line. I don't have a bet on the game. I think the Clippers win. The Cavs do have a game on deck. They play in Sacramento tomorrow night. Not that it's a look-ahead spot, though, because that Sacramento is not a big game for the Cavs. I think it's a Clipper spot, but I don't have the nutsack to bet it. Would I?
Sorry about your nutsack, Kyle. I have Evan Mobley points in this game. No, I'm just kidding. Another player that's questionable. I don't have an official play in this one. Obviously, we need to know if Evan Mobley's playing. If he misses, take your pick between Mitchell, Garland, and Jared Allen. All their points go up by like 3 to 4 points on average without Evan Mobley. I would lean towards Donovan Mitchell solely because he shot so horribly the last 2 games. You just figure that's not going to continue game over game. Last game, and I know this because I bet it, Donovan Mitchell scored 23 points. He was 9 of 28 from the field, 3 of 14 from deep. The game before that, granted, in the game the Cavs won, he was 1 of 7 from deep and he was 4 of 15 from the field. The game before that, 0 of 6 from deep, 6 of 19 from the field. So he shot terribly. I just think that eventually positive regression is going to come. Good matchup, or good defense, I should say, not a good matchup. So I didn't end up playing it. I would lean towards Donovan Mitchell points, but I'm absolutely not putting money on that one.
Chris?
Yeah, very, very conflicting game here, Kyle. A lot of things on both sides that I like. I don't like the strength of schedule for either one of these teams. Cleveland has played the easiest strength of schedule in their last 5 games, and the Clippers have played the 6th easiest strength of schedule. I also don't like the travel spot here for Cleveland. I think this sets up for a Clippers spot. Clippers are coming off a 35 point win against Charlotte the other day. No travel involved. Cleveland was at home, first leg of back-to-back, like you said. They did have to travel. And you also mentioned it. The Clippers at home, they have one of the best efficiency differentials in the NBA, actually top 5 at home. So as much as I think I could make a strong case for either, I'm not fading. I don't want to fade the Cavs off a loss, like just laying one possession, because I think that they absolutely can come in here and win the game. Norman Powell could look a little rusty with it being his, I think it's his 2nd game back, but he could look a little rusty as well. All of this really hinges on Evan Mobley, because I do think they'll be able to dominate the paint if he does play. The Clippers don't have like Nicholas Batum. Good luck. So I think Evan Mobley could have a really big game and they could win the game by possession. Kyle, I thought that you would talk a little bit more about the under here. Like, I feel like the way both of these teams have been playing recently, that we should see a little bit of defense. I mean, we want to buy on the Clippers defense specifically at home, right? They're second best defense at home, I think. Yeah, second best defense at home. The I don't know if you saw this, Kyle. Cleveland is shooting a bunch of threes at the worst percentage in the NBA. They're actually the worst 3-point shooting team right now, last 5 games. So it kind of feels like if they the Clippers are going to continue to play really good 3-point defense, run them off the 3-point line, then we'll see, a game that's probably going to be played pretty slow. The Clippers are bottom 5 in pace on the full season and last 5 games at home. So it kind of feels like an underspot. No, the total is still going up. I think 2 good teams. I just talked about it with the Golden State and Milwaukee game. I kind of think it goes under, and that might be the best play if Evan Mobley plays, because I need his defense out there as well.
If you want to go under, you can get a 233. And yes, the comments are correct. Steph Curry was just ruled out. The total in the Milwaukee Golden State game is down to 226.5 now. So under 233.5, if you were in the group and got it last night, should be looking pretty good. Speaking of looking pretty good, the Knicks Spurs line just opened up. I'm not going to fire on that one. I have a bunch locked and loaded. So if you have the Sauce Network app, make sure you turn the Sauce notifications on because I'm ready to fire, waiting for tomorrow's lines to open. I have them all ready. And all right, so yeah, I'm not going to bet the Clippers, by the way, not at 3. I believe what I said last night was I would play the Clippers at 5. So I doubt we're going to see a 5. So it'll probably be a pass for me. Let's talk some college basketball. Both these guys will be back tomorrow with 11 games on the board. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow.
Best of luck, fellas.
What's up, man? What the hell? What do you mean by your situation?
Your mic isn't working for us, so all we hear is the echo out of Beaver's mic. Like it's whether we hear Beaver's mic or we hear something else. That mic doesn't work. It sounds fine on YouTube, but as far as
it's because Prop Beaver doesn't have the right one selected on the settings.
I mean, what?
We're in the middle.
It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. I was just giving you shit. That's all. I also want to say to Modai, Scoop and I.
Can you hear? Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good,
St. Francis, Alabama State. Oh, Toast tomorrow, 5 p.m. Moneyline Max on, and we're going all 4 groups. We're doing 2 top underdog picks of each group and 2 favorite picks of each group. If you're able to make it 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
all right. I'll be there.
St. Francis, Alabama State.
All state.
Do you have a bet in this game, Scoop? I played both first half unders, but I didn't play a side or anything on this one. So if you have a side, go ahead. You can go first.
I also don't have a side. I have the under full game. I mean, both of these teams are coming in hot into this. St. Francis had a sub 500 record overall through the league, but they clicked at the right time. I feel that Alabama State is going to pressure St. Francis into some careless plays. It's what Alabama State did down the stretch in the tournament. I think their defense really turned it up lately. But really, this should be like the Jackson State Alabama State championship. I think a slow-paced game. Defense is going to make both teams look pretty bad. It's weird to say when all year the defense hasn't looked good on either side, but Alabama State 270th in offensive efficiency. St. Francis is 299. No one really scores on either side. Alabama State isn't a great shooting team in general. I know this opened at 142.5. I actually grabbed that. I would still play it at 138.5. It's a lot of points for these two teams. I get that St. Francis look good on offense down the stretch, and Alabama is 17th in the nation in field goal attempts per game, while St. Francis is like 263, but those attempts aren't anything. They're 329th in the nation in shooting efficiency this year, so you can put up 17th, the 17th most all you want. They're just not hitting them. The best part of Alabama State's team is their 3-ball, but St. Francis' defense is best on the perimeter. I don't see this as being a huge offensive type of game for either team, so I'm definitely going with the under.
Toast, you liked St. Francis, right?
No, I like the first half under, and I would agree with the line movement. It came back down with Alabama State for me, but first half under 64.5. Going to be playing with new Wilson basketball. Is going to be playing in a new arena for both these teams. I don't hate the full game under either. It's also down to 137.5, so it just continues to just essentially in a free fall. But as far as the side, I would pick Alabama State here. I think Amari Knox and CJ Hines are significantly better guards, and in March, that's what you need is guard play. On top of the fact Alabama State doesn't turn the basketball over, which I think is going to be huge for a team like St. Francis that has turnover issues and can't shoot free throws. That bothers me a little bit. And then on top of that, Alabama State has played well against upper level competition. They led LSU at halftime when they played them, I think it was, or at least early into the second half, and then they beat Omaha, which is another team that's in this tournament as well. So I trust Alabama State a little bit more. If I could find a way to the dog, I would get there, but I just couldn't do it. The guard play is just too much for me.
I have no idea, by the way. Let's move on to the next one. The next one I'm down to bet, though. Aztecs, money line, keep the points outright. I'm on San Diego State. This North Carolina team sucks. That's all I need to say.
I gave my piece last night. I'll say it again. Scoop, I'm curious to hear where you're at. I really don't know.
Good for North Carolina being here. 1 win against Quad 1 teams. Leader of the committee, North Carolina athletic director. $150,000 in his pocket or whatever for being there. But I grabbed North Carolina at -3.5. I don't know what it is now.
4.
But so while you're there, you might as well win the game and cover. Shouldn't be here, but why not? San Diego State, awesome defensively. I personally think they're going to struggle to keep up with North Carolina's offense here, and we've seen it all year. Carolina doesn't start off well in the first half. They're shooting better, averaging more points in the second. Had some big comebacks. Again, not going to say anything about San Diego State's defense. They're 14th in scoring defense, really great 3-point defense. Really though, I think he's great. They got to turn the ball over to Lubin. I think they will. San Diego State's defense is basically all guards. They shut down the perimeter. I think Lubin had 3 straight double-doubles in the ACC tournament. I think he has a distinct advantage down low. Nick Boyd, great player, but he struggled scoring as well. Carolina should be enough. I think they'll do enough defensively to win this game. As good as San Diego State's defense is, and at 3 when I had it, North Carolina has been shooting 42% behind the 3-point arc this month. They still get some looks. Plus, I mean, San Diego State has 182nd in effective field goal percentage, a very, very poor shooting team on the free throw line. They're shooting 66% on the free throw line. They're 334th in the country. I'm going to take Carolina. I'm not confident. It's Carolina. I mean, they're not great. And I think most of the money is on North Carolina too. I think it's a very public bet. I think it's like 80%, but they shouldn't be here. I'm going to take them anyway. I laid the 3.5. 4.5's getting a little rough, but I took Carolina.
That's such a square bet from Scoop.
100%. It's absolutely terrible. I don't even feel good about myself.
You shouldn't feel good about yourself. Toast, tell them why.
Couple reasons. First and foremost, I think that we have a huge coaching advantage with San Diego State with Brian Dutcher, who's been there and done that. I get that Hubert Davis has done some things in North Carolina.
I don't like Hubert Davis at all. So,
but you're betting on them.
Yes.
But I just wanted to say, my point to that is that everybody likes to bring up, and I'm not talking about you, Swoop, specifically, or anybody in the comments, but a lot of the narrative is you fade teams in the Mountain West. And you really can't argue with that and how they performed, especially over the last few years. But what I will say is, if there is one team in the Mountain West that you should be able to trust, it is this San Diego State team. They've had a couple extra days to prepare for this game on top of the fact because they lost to Boise State early in their conference tournament, which I think gives them a little bit of an advantage as well. You have North Carolina having trouble getting there. They got there a little bit late yesterday or whatever it was. But I think that I trust San Diego State to not only slow this game down. I mean, that's the one thing that we know about North Carolina is they like to get out and go, especially with their guards and RJ Davis. But San Diego State's done a really good job all year of slowing teams down. I mean, 241 in average possession length, and it's not like they're playing some cupcake schedule. They're close to a top 60 schedule in the country. So not to mention the fact that I don't even know how bad North Carolina's schedule isn't anything significantly better than theirs either. So I have a team in San Diego State that's going to slow this game down, that doesn't rely on the 3 ball at all, which I like on a neutral court. Yes, they can't shoot their free throws very well. That I will give them that, but they're also they're a lot bigger than North Carolina is as well. So I think they're going to have a pretty significant rebounding advantage as well. So the only thing that I would worry about is if North Carolina comes out hot shooting threes, and then that kind of is going to probably end up blowing up anything that San Diego State might do. But again, I'll take my chances with that. I just feel like 4.5 was way too many with a San Diego State team that I think is just as good, that's played just as good a schedule, that has a coaching advantage, and it doesn't rely on the 3 ball, and that has guard play that I think that can match up with Cardo and Davis and Nick Boyd and BJ Davis. So, and not to mention the fact Miles Burrs is 6'7", and he can guard anybody he wants if he so chooses. So I really like San Diego State tonight. I played them plus 4.5 in on the money line as well.
Yeah, someone said Oklahoma City resting pieces tomorrow. Yeah, SGA's just been ruled out. Lou Dort ruled out. That is true. But they're at home against Philadelphia. So that number would need to get for Northern for me to take Philly. I'm going to need more than just a couple pieces sitting out. The Sixers suck. Were you going to say something, Scoop?
North Carolina's 41st strength of schedule. San Diego State 62nd, so it's not much of a difference at all.
I'm going to bet this, by the way.
Also, Utah Valley was in that game until 40 seconds left. They had to cover. What are you talking about? Grand Canyon sucks.
I like Utah State, by the way, in the first round.
So do I, actually.
I bet I'm on the money line. keep the points.
All right, let's go ahead and get along. I got a big NBA video to get out. Again, if you're in the Discord or have the Sauce Network app, keep an eye out because I'm waiting for lines to open to fire some NBA bets for tomorrow. There's a lot of games, and I'm waiting for lines to open. So keep an eye out for that.
If some of you guys won't be here for midnight, Dodgers, like I said, Dodgers 1.5 last night, Cubs tonight, and the over if you can get it at 7.5 on FanDuel. Cubs in the over tonight in the baseball game.
Cubs and the over.
Most is 1-0 this baseball season.
Yep.
Must be nice. All right, everyone, have a good night.